Hello everyone. So I welcome you all again. This is lecture 3 part 3 of electromagnetic induction. I am Samir Levankar. So let's start. Let's move on to energy considerations. Energy considerations is nothing but anything which is involved with motional EMF or motional voltage will also lead to some work done, will also lead to some energy consumption. How is it in energy is released? Is it released in mechanical? Is it released in heat? Only this concept is being dealt in energy consideration concept. So let us move on. Again this is the figure used which was used in deriving this formula here on your right, that is epsilon is equal to BLV. There is no change in the figure. So let me directly move on to the points I wrote here. So let R be the resistance of the movable arm PQ. So let R be the resistance here, R is measured in ohms. Let R be the resistance of the movable arm PQ of the rectangular conductor. So PQRS is the rectangular conductor being told here. Assume that the remaining arms QR, RS and SP. So what does that explain to you? QR, RS and SP have negligible resistance compared to R. So R is here approximately equal to 0, R is approximately equal to 0, R is approximately equal to 0, 0 ohms to be more clear, and R is approximately equal to 0 ohms. That means the total resistance as everything is in series. So total resistance will be only and only due to what? The resistance which is offered by PQ, and hence it is approximately equal to R. For our ideal case scenario, we will consider this as equal to R. Okay. So move on. Assume that the remaining arms QR, RS and SP have negligible resistance compared to R. The overall resistance of the rectangular loop is R as told to you here, and this does not change as PQ is moved. As PQ will be moved, it will not be changed. Why it will not be changed? Because with the decrease in the length of QR and PS, decrease in the length of QR and SP, because the resistance offered by them were negligible, hence there is, with the change in length also the resistance will be approximately 0, hence the total resistance will be same. So the overall resistance of the rectangular loop is R, and this does not change as PQ is moved. Now the current I in the loop is from the basic current electricity concept, we know that current involved is equal to V by R, as motional electromotive force or motional EMF or simply EMF is nothing but voltage only. So it is equal to epsilon by R. So the current I in the loop is I is equal to epsilon by R. From the previous concept, just before this we already knew that epsilon is nothing but BLV, hence it is equal to BLV by R. So the current is equal to BLV by R. Moving on account of the presence of the magnetic field, there will be a force on the arm PQ, as we already knew why it is called as EMF. The basic phenomena or the basic thing for calling it as EMF is it is a force. So this voltage difference creates a force. Due to this force only anything like if it is dealt with current electricity, then there will be a bulb glowing. If it is dealt with magnetism, then there will be an induction of current. Anything which involves a force here is being talked about here. That is why, because of this force, we will try to calculate what is the value of this force here. So on account of the presence of magnetic field, there will be a force on the arm PQ. There will be a force on arm PQ. Why there will be a force on only PQ only? Because it is only offering you resistance. The person, or in real life also, you will try to defend your position only from those who resist you. If the path of water is clear, it will directly flow. If the path of water is unclear, if there are pebbles, then it will try to change its position, it will try to repel, it will try to form currents, it will try to wave around it. But if the path is clear, then it will directly move without any disturbance. So this is the same concept which is involved in current electricity also and real life also. So on account of the presence of magnetic field, there will be a force on the arm PQ. This force is I into L into B, is directed outwards in the direction opposite to the velocity of the rod. So it will try to oppose, as we already knew from the concept of conservation of energy and Lenz's law, that the energy or the force involved will try to oppose this direction of velocity. hence it will be in opposite direction to the velocity of the rod, and the magnitude of this force will be nothing but I into L into B. So, I derived you this force which is being written here, simple terms, it is I into L into B. I is from this equation, let me denote it by equation number 1, it is B L V by R, which is into L into B, L and L squared, B and B squared, that is B square L square V by R. So, a new formula has been derived to you, that the force involved in moving the resistor or in moving the conductor PQ from a position inside the magnetic field will lead to a force which is going opposite to the direction of velocity of the rod. Moving on. So, I wrote the same force value here again, because we need to use it again in this slide. So, now note that this force arises due to the drift velocity of charges. What is drift velocity of charges? As anything involved with magnetic field, anything involved with magnetic field will in atomic terms will deal with charges only. So, in very peculiar terms, in very small terms, it will happen is that there is a charge q and this charge will try to move. So, the movement of this charges is known as drift velocity. If it is moving at any speed, that is drift velocity. So, note that this force arises due to the drift velocity of charges, which is responsible for current. So, we already know why does current happen? Current happens due to movement of charges, because because movement of charges happen, hence there is a potential difference, hence we get our current electricity concept. So, note that this force arises due to drift velocity of charges responsible for current along the rod. Which rod? This rod, and the consequent Lorentz force acting on them. Now, the power, now next concept is what is the power required to push arm PQ with a constant velocity V. So, the power required to push arm PQ is this PQ with a constant speed V is P is nothing but power, we know that P is nothing but force into velocity, simple concept of physics. So, P is equal to force into velocity, which is equal to B square L square V by R into R. So, I will write here again B square L square V by R into V. Here R is nothing but the resistance involved. Please do not mix it with any radius here, it is R is resistance involved. So, P is nothing but B square L square V square by R. Moving on. The agent that does this work is mechanical. Please make sure that this work is mechanical. Mechanical as in either you are pushing or any engine or any gear system is being used to push this. So, anything which is mechanical, not electrical, not any heat energy is being involved, anything which is done by using gears or by using a hand driven motor or by using a normal or by using an electric motor, anything which is mechanical using gears and all is the mechanical energy involved here. Now, where does this mechanical energy go? So, we have to put here mechanical energy, but this, as we already know from the concept of conservation of energy, that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. So, it can only be transferred from one form into another form. So, maybe this mechanical energy is converted into different energy. So, to understand the concept here, this mechanical energy is dissipated as Joule heat. That means, this mechanical energy goes into heat energy. So, this is the new concept here, that anything while you try to push it using mechanical thing, it will go and heat up the conductor, heat up the resistor. So, new concept is that it is dissipated as Joule heat and is given by, so the Joule heat value, what is the Joule heat value? So, Joule heat value is nothing but Pj is equal to I square R. So, this is again a concept of current electricity, that Pj is equal to I square R, also equal, so which is equal to, we already know the value of I here, that is BLV by R, BLV by R square into R. So, that comes out to be B square L square V square by R. So, this formula and this formula both are same. So, as it is same, that means it is quite evident that anything for an ideal condition, if we are assuming, please remember the assumption involved. The assumption involved was there was no release, there was no dissipation of energy due to any friction involved when moving the conductor PQ towards the left. And hence, because there was no dissipation of energy, that is why mechanical energy due to our work is being converted into joule heat here. And because the value of joule heat is similar, or the formula we obtained is similar, then it is quite evident that the complete transfer of energy has been occurred. Hence, the conservation of energy is also proven here, and hence Lenz's law is also correct here. So, everything goes intact in physics. Thus, mechanical energy which was needed to move the arm PQ is converted into electrical energy, the induced EMF, and then to thermal energy. So, quite evident that first a mechanical energy was being used, mechanical energy led to induction in induced EMF. Induced EMF I will put by this, EMF was being induced. Because EMF was being induced, that means a current was flowing through the circuit, that means it was a type of electrical energy. And after this electrical energy, where does this energy go? The temperature will increase, that means we knew from the fact, because the temperature was increasing, everything from electrical energy was going into heat energy. So, heat energy is nothing but thermal energy. So, this is the complete concept of energy considerations. Moving on. So, now there is an interesting relationship between the charge flow through the circuit. We know why does current happen, why do we get a value of current, because due to the change in the current. So, movement of charges. So, movement of charges lead to current. So, there is an interesting relationship between the charge flow through the circuit and the change in the magnetic flux. What is change in magnetic flux? Change in magnetic flux is nothing but delta phi b. And what is charge flow? Charge flow is nothing but delta q. So, from Faraday's law, we have learned that the magnitude of the induced EMF is Faraday's law is nothing but deriving this formula. Just to reiterate to you, Faraday's law was nothing but deriving this formula is nothing but the Faraday's law. So, from Faraday's law, we have learned that the magnitude of the induced EMF is mod epsilon is equal to delta phi b by del t. For now, let us consider that n value is 1, and we are only interested in the mod value. So, that is why this negative sign is also removed, not removed, mod of minus 1 is 1, that is why. However, mod epsilon we know that voltage is equal to I into R, and rate of change, rate or movement of charges per unit time is current. So, that is delta q upon delta t into R. This is the concept of current electricity. So, this you have already known in your previous classes of current electricity, that I is nothing but change in charges or movement of charges, or moving if we take a plane through which movement of charges is being happening, then movement of charges through that plane per unit time, or rate of change of charges through a particular position or through a particular plane is known as current. So, delta q by delta t into R, this is the simple concept from current electricity, and thus using this equation 1 and this equation 2, we get delta q is equal to delta phi b by R. So, this is simply that delta phi b by delta t is equal to delta q upon delta t into R. R can be either denoted by small r or capital R here. Delta t gets cancelled, hence delta q is equal to change in magnetic flux upon resistance value. So, this is the interesting relationship between charge flow and change in magnetic flux. So, now to conclude this lecture, in this third lecture we learnt about what was the we did a small discussion on Lenz's law. We used an example in which there were 3 different types of planar loops, and using that planar loops either going inside or outside, we tried to find out what was the direction of current involved with the change in the area involved in those concepts. Then next thing we learnt about what was the motional electromotive force. So, the value of BLV was being derived Moving on to the energy consideration part, in which we talked about what was the power involved, what was the conversion from the mechanical energy, then to electrical energy, and then to thermal energy. So, these all concepts were being involved. Then just to understand what was the course progress. So, in the last 2 lectures we went till Faraday's laws of induction, Lenz's law and conservation of energy. In this lecture we talked about what was motion electromotive force, we talked about power related concept here, we talked about energy considerations here, we also talked a little bit about Lenz's law also. In the next classes we will learn about eddy currents, then we will move on to inductance and AC generators. So, thank you.